One of the fastest ways to tell if someone has high-end broadcast-level editing skills is to study how they use music. To be honest, a pro can tell in the first 10 seconds of watching any sequence. Music editing is one of the most sought-after skills in professional editing. Are they good with music? Is a common question asked by directors and producers when hiring through post houses or agencies. A very good friend of mine was an exec producer on one of the biggest talent shows in American television. She told me again and again how hard it was to find editors who could truly cut music at a high level. That's because music editing, real music editing, is rare. And that makes it one of the biggest opportunities to stand out in a very crowded editing marketplace. Now, if you're willing to master it, it instantly puts you in the top tier. So in this episode, I'm going to show you 2 high-level techniques that separate average editors from elite editors. If you understand and apply these, you'll instantly rise above 90% of the competition. My name's Paddy Bird, and this is Inside the Edit. Music editing is one of the foundational pillars of our art form. But editing isn't just one skill, it's a combination of many. Dialogue editing, B-roll editing, narrative pacing, structural storytelling, and yes, music editing. Now, you can be good at all the others and still be weak in this one. But elite editors, they have no weak spots. That's why they get all the best jobs. Music editing isn't just choosing a track. It's the art of reinforcing your scene's intention and emotion with the perfect music track at exactly the right moments through a careful, layered workflow. So let's break down where most editors go wrong. As with all creative skills, there are levels to this, and most editors never make it past level 1. Level 1 is this. You find a music track that matches the mood of your scene: fast, slow, dramatic, upbeat, ominous, and you drop it in. And then you move on. It's not bad, but it's basic. A quick browse through YouTube will show you this in action. Pick any viral mini doc on history or politics and you'll see it. Music that matches mood, but not structure. Music that fills the space, but doesn't shape the story. That's where most editors stop. They select a track, drop it into the timeline, and forget about it. But for broadcast level editors, your Netflix, HBO, BBC, that's just the beginning. There are multiple levels of creative manipulation beyond tone matching. And once you learn them, they completely transform your storytelling. Let's begin with the first. And this is one of the clearest signs of an elite level editor. Most average editors lay music under a scene like wallpaper. Pro editors, they treat it like a duet. Here's the principle. Dialogue and music should take it in turns. One speaks, then the other. That's duet theory. Now, to do this, you first need to break down the music and identify the most emotionally interesting parts. The chorus, a music swell, a shift in chord structure, an unusual instrument, a beat drop, the first or last few bars. Then, and here's the key, you time those moments to happen when no one is speaking. The Sync Islands, the organized, compressed cut-downs of a character's interview dialogue, happen in bursts during a scene. What we're interested in music editing is the spaces in between these islands. These are your golden opportunities. You want the best part of the music to hit the audience right after a strong line of dialogue. That creates a 1-2 punch: emotion, facts, or description from the words, followed by emotional reinforcement from that music. That is the duet. Now, if you time it right, the duration of that musical moment should define the length of the pause. Never cut off beautiful flourishes within the music in a space between the sync islands. Let that phrase finish. But here's what most editors do instead. They leave the most powerful moments of the music under the dialogue, completely buried. The audience can't hear it, and the emotion is wasted. It's like throwing away 75% of the power in the track. Now, I've seen this mistake thousands of times with my students' sequences. They had the perfect track, but they let it peak while someone was talking. The most interesting thing while someone was talking. A professional never lets that happen. They shape the music, they cut it, they time it, and restructure it to ensure that every moment lands with full emotional clarity. It backs up and reinforces what the characters are saying throughout any sequence. One of the things I struggled with when trying to break into high-end editing was learning the language used in professional edit suites. Learning all of the terminology really does help when shaping your mind for every stage of the creative process. That's why I created this for you. It's a beautifully designed film poster that I call the periodic table of editing terminology. 50 of the most creative terms you'll ever hear in a pro editing suite. You can print it out and put it up on the wall of your cutting room, or keep it as a screensaver. Just click on the link in the description below, head on over to Inside the Edit and download it right now. Memorize every single one, and you'll start sounding like a high-end editor very quickly. Here's a technique that no one teaches, but every high-end editor uses. It's called musical element assignment. It means taking individual components within the music, specific instruments, sounds, or flourishes, and assigning them to specific things within the scene. This is next-level musical connection, and it's everywhere on top-tier editing. So let me explain. Every track is made up of layers. In pop or rock, it's the drums, it's the guitar, the bass, the vocals. In orchestral scores, it's the strings, it's the brass, it's the piano, the woodwinds. In dance music, it's synths, it's risers, it's drops, it's sub-basses. Now, most editors only cut to the beat, but that's just one dimension. What I want you to do is cut to the flute, to the hi-hat, to the vocal swell, the pizzicato strings, the weird reverb tail, everything. Every instrument and sound is a potential editing moment. Here's how it works in practice. That quirky clarinet line, time it with a character's awkward glance or facial expression. That romantic and beautiful violin swell, place it right as someone looks out over a landscape. That crisp kick drum, cut it to a door slam or a sudden body movement from one of your characters. That techno chorus, time it to explode as your character stops talking and smiles to the camera. Every part of the track is a tool, an opportunity. And once you see music this way, your editing vocabulary expands tenfold. Most editors stop at finding the right track, but that is just the first draft. If you want to work in editing at the very highest level, you need to cut the music just as carefully as you cut the visuals. Structure the emotional arc of the music to enhance your story. Let the music and the dialogue alternate like a duet, and use specific musical elements to match specific scene moments. This is what real music editing looks like. This is how you create sequences that feel elevated and cinematic and have emotional presence. The editors at the top, they're not just cutting scenes, they're composing with rhythm. Start practicing this right now on your timeline. My name is Paddy Bird, and this is Inside the Edit.